Well, hello everyone. Frill Housewife here. Get my little crochet on. I've been doing a lot of way too much watching of all this new stuff and listening to everybody's views and everything. And, something stands out to me. Years ago, I was in a class where this, let's see, I don't know the politically correct term people are going by these days. So, black man, okay? He was given this one class I was at, and he talked about how people will often say, well, we should be able to have Arizona back. We should be able to do whatever we want. Arizona was ours first. And I hear the same kind of speak going on about California and Hispanics currently. So I'm like, huh. Because I remember him explaining to all of us, say I sell you my house, okay? And at some point I decide to come back, eat Cheetos on your couch, rub it all in, let the cat out of the house, shit in the toilet, not flush it, whatever, just general fuckery. Okay? And you're like, get out of my house. You just home invaded. You're destroying shit. You're disgusting. I'm going to call the cops. And I'll be like, you can't. It's my house. It was mine first. And they're like, well, I paid for it. Well, tough shit. It was mine first. I can come in and do whatever I want. Right? Same mentality, same thinking. It just blows my mind. Then there's the whole mostly peaceful protest. Okay, well, I didn't realize throwing Molotov cocktails was peaceful. And while we're on that guy, and everybody's like, oh my God, he's such a victim of what they're doing. No, actually, he had already been deported before for, I don't know, I forget which crimes, but some bullshit that he deserved to be deported for, okay? And while I'm talking about crimes, that's another thing, okay? These politicians and these people with money and some sort of power, okay, why do we all act like they're better than us? Why? Because you work for some mayor or you are the mayor and I just bag your groceries, per se? Pick your tomatoes? No, all jobs are equal. All jobs are important. You couldn't sit at your little luncheon with your fancy little socks and your snotty little CEO buddies, doing mergers and corporate takeovers. If there wasn't somebody to grow your tomatoes, pick your tomatoes, wash your tomatoes, bring it into the damn place, buy it, whatever, prepare it, serve you, okay? It goes on. So, yeah, every job is important. I'm sorry. You can't convince me otherwise. Now, yeah, some jobs require more skill. Sure, a heart surgeon requires more skill than somebody who picks tomatoes, granted, you know, but it doesn't make one person better than the other, greater, whatever. But yet here we are allowing people like, I don't know, a good example, Hillary Clinton or whatever, Mayor Bass, whatever, Gavin Newscum. I mean, all these fuckers, they go around doing really messed up shit, inciting really messed up shit, making stupidest excuses that couldn't get a kid out of being grounded if they tried. I mean, honest to God, if y'all sit down and listen to these people, if your kids come to you and they gave you the same bullshit excuses, or your boyfriend or girlfriend come to you with the same damn stupid excuses for shit, you wouldn't put up with it, would you? No. You'd call them on their shit and you'd spank their ass or break up or put them in the corner, depending on who the person is to you. Well, anyways, my point is, in America, they like to say, oh, the legal system, you're innocent until proven guilty. I call bullshit. I call bullshit all day. You know why? Because all of us already know if you don't come from money or have some sort of perceived power or social clout, you are guilty until proven innocent. And I don't give a shit what anybody says. We all know that's true. And I, for one, am sick and tired of seeing these people getting away with their shit. I'm seeing stuff online where some woman who married into the Walmart clan and now she's inherited a shit ton of money. This woman is possibly providing equipment to these riots. She's definitely helping to incite the mindsets that go to this because she's putting out ads that talk about all this stuff that's well, the left would love. Okay. Um, the thing is she'll probably never get in any trouble for it. People say, "Oh, that's free speech. Oh, this or that. Oh, it's conspiracy. Oh, whatever." Thing is if you or I, a regular, normal, average, everyday citizen, somebody works at fucking Wendy's and can barely get by. If any of us pulled some asshole shit like that, you know what would happen to us? I'll tell you what happened to us. We'd be sitting in damn jail with our pictures barfed all over the internet for people to spit on our names talking about how we're some sort of piece of shit. That's what that would do. And they'd get everybody fired up, and it'd be really hard to get any kind of decent jury because the whole thing would be tainted. Anyway, point is, why do the people with money and perceived power, why are they allowed innocent until proven guilty, but the rest of us, it's the other way around? Because that just means that these people who are doing this shit and causing this shit are just going to keep on keeping on, and it's never going to freaking end, you know? And I just don't get it. And that's another thing. How the fuck, when you riot and you loot and you burn and you destroy and you smash and you crumble, okay, if these people you're going against are really that much of an oligarchy or dictatorship or whatever bullshit you want to come up with, okay, if that's really true, do you really think that you're not helping them to clear out the area to build something there that they'd rather look at than you, who they'd rather shove in a ghetto, the projects, the end of town? Because why? You're poor of whatever color, you're whatever color, and you know, like most rich people, they don't want to have to look at you. You know why? Because you're their fucking servants. You're nothing more than fodder to these people, okay? That's why. They want you coming in the back door. They want you invisible, okay? They want you to use the invisible stairs that lead to the fucking kitchen in the Victorian home where they don't got to see you or hear you. Oh my God, you know? And that's in essence what this comes down to, okay? Because I know my brother, he's on the other side of these things, and he would say, oh, I'm letting Trump and everybody else just mold my thoughts or whatever. But here's the thing. I am seeing people running around and doing horrible, terrible things, okay? Well, maybe not horrible, I guess, per se. It's all subjective. But anyways, how do I put this? The Democrats and the liberals are manipulating people into believing that this acting out, this burning things down, this rioting, this smashing cop cars is going to cause some sort of positive change. They have people convinced that this is how to show that you're thinking with your own mind. And I know my brother would say, oh, you're listening to too much right-wing stuff and you don't get it. No. Okay. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. But there's a certain part of this when all the politicians that are against Trump, and I'm not trying to create a pro-Trump video or anything like that. I'm not, okay. I'm not trying to hate or pro. I'm just trying to talk about something. Lost my train of thought. Hold on. The people that are manipulating you into believing that this behavior is how to show that you think for yourself, they're not getting arrested, are they? They don't have marks on their body from rubber bullets. They don't have taser holes. They don't have whatever. They're not getting partially run over by vehicles and shit out there, are they? Their shit's not getting burnt down. Their shit's not getting broke into, looted. None of that, is it? No, it is not. Okay? So how in the fuck are you guys creating positive change or promoting anything that would make a lot of other people stand behind you against what's happening? You're not. Okay, I don't understand how supporting your community and fighting about a cause means that you got to go around to your specific community and smash, loot, burn. How the fuck is destroying your own community? I just don't get that. It's like, what is it they used to say back in the day during the Nam War? Something about bombing for peace is like fucking for virginity or something like that, you know? And I just can't help but think that people are fucking for virginity right now. You know what I mean? I don't know, it just blows my mind, and I don't understand the illogic of it. I get you're pissed off. I get you're angry. Um, you'd be a lot less pissed off if you stopped to listen to any real news and have some research and look things up a little bit and realize that a lot of these people have, in fact, already had due process. And they had due process and were told, no, you got to go, and they didn't bother to go, or they did a crime, and then, like, they saw the courts, and then the courts were like, okay, you're getting deported too, and then they disappear into the community as well, and then they go stand on the corner at Home Depot blending with everybody else who's legal, well, not committing crimes, so they haven't got themselves on a deport list yet. Anyways, they go stand on the corner with these other people that are trying to get work, which they're putting themselves out there to be exploited by people who don't want to pay a proper day's wage anyway, let's face it. And so you don't realize that the people that you could be hiring, whether it's from Home Depot or anywhere, okay, could be more than they seem. And so to sit there and say, oh, they're stealing people, they're just dragging off anybody with brown skin is bullshit. Complete and utter bullshit. Okay, here, I'll throw myself on the barbecue grill for you. You see me? What do I look like? Some average, stupid, white, possible Karen on some days, boring ass, librarian looking motherfucker, right? Okay. Would you believe that I did 11 years and 18 days behind some bullshit? Half of which, yes, I'm guilty for. I did stomp a mud hole in the child molester. Will never be sorry for that. I do apologize for taking God's vengeance into my own hand, not knowing if I had that right or not, but I do not feel sorry for stomping the Jesus out of this man. I could go on for days about that story, but nobody's really watching these anyway, so it doesn't matter. And the other thing was guilt by association homicide, which totally different person, and I did not commit the crime. Okay, but it looks like on paper that I'm some sort of murdering, kidnapping, assaulting psycho bitch. Okay, and I'm not at all. Well, unless you mess with kids, but or kick a dog in front of me, kind of thing. You get my point. Anyway, say I'm coming through a temp agency or something, say I'm in somebody's house being a housekeeper. Okay. I look like probably like somebody that would help with hospice or something, don't I? I mean, I've actually done haircuts for hospice. So the thing is like, if ICE had to come in and grab me for whatever, you'd be like, oh my God, they just snatched this innocent person. They just kidnapped her right off the street and she didn't even have it coming. But what you don't know about me is maybe I was running around illegal. I'm not. I'm United States born citizen, have been for generations. But the thing is like, say that I was deportable, okay? And say that I was supposed to be deported because of my crimes, even though I served my time, because that does happen. I have a friend who got deported after she did her time, so I know. But, your perception is that, oh, ICE just came in and just snatched her up out of nowhere, and she's the nicest person on the planet. And while maybe some of that is true, the snatching up out of nowhere would not be correct on that assumption. And so I'm just trying to point out that when you guys are crying about, oh my God, they took him out of fucking Wendy's or off to the fucking corner Home Depot or whatever, if you watch the earlier videos of all this immigration mess before Trump got back in office to start sweeping it out, you'll find there are videos out there of people getting in knockdown, drag out fights in the corners of these fucking parking lots because the illegals are battling the ones who are here legal trying to get work. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure those guys are pretty glad those other ones are going. You know what I mean? Or, you look at the footage of like people getting home invaded and stuff, and I'm pretty sure people are glad those neighbors are leaving. But yet you got Democrats trying to convince you that, oh my God, they're just snatching people out of nowhere just because they can. No. And okay, so, entering a country isn't a felony per se, but it is against the law when you do it the wrong way. And, you're supposed to follow the law if you expect to get into someplace. And while you're at it, I'm with Michael Knowles, fucking assimilate. How hard is it to assimilate? Obviously people like, okay, the Venezuelans, for example, okay? Sure, there's going to be good people in the group. There's going to be bad people in the group. But right now we see a lot about the Trente de Agua, right? Okay. So, say you got TDA in your neighborhood, and you have the other Venezuelans that are actually being law abiding and stuff and blending in. Okay? I guarantee you the neighbors that are part of the people out rioting and fussing about this, if they could understand fully instead of being a Democratic pawn in this game, a whipping boy, somebody take the bullet for them, somebody go to prison for them because they really only have a mouth to run, because none of them are going to get uncomfortable and leave their steaks and fancy socks and shit behind for you. I guarantee you that. They're not going to fight for you the same way at all. Okay? And I just lost my fucking point. Sorry. I don't know. The point is people really need to start doing some research and quit letting anybody lead them around by the nose. I mean, whether you're for or against this whole bullshit of everything that's happening in the world, um, follow the money. That's what a lot of people say, follow the money, and that's true, you know. Um, oh, the Venezuelan example. Okay. Michael, I think it was Michael, was pointing out that um, when you come here, you know, it's good if you leave behind the world you came from and bring something to the table, I don't know, culturally that's positive and something to celebrate, you know, um, instead of bringing the same shit into this country then that you're supposedly leaving in the other country. Because if you bring all those problems here and try to run everything like you did there, you're going to get the same results. And the whole point to moving to another country is to integrate in, to blend in. We're supposed to be a melting pot. When you melt a box of crayons, sure, the colors are still a little bit separated, but they're all connected, aren't they? They're all a little bit intertwined, okay? That's how it's supposed to work. It's not supposed to be, oh, I have to quash my entire culture and way of life and take on yours and let my country go to shit to make you feel better or to be politically correct or whatever. It's just crap, you know? I don't know. There's so much out there that's just really just a pisser right now that I just feel really aggravated about, and I just don't understand the illogic behind it. And I'm not even going to get into the gender stuff or the sexual identity stuff. Y'all want to objectify yourselves and help others objectify yourself because your whole obsession is, you know, your libido and what you do with it and who you do it with. It's on you. I'm over that topic. But all this other shit that's going on, I just don't get it. You know, LA wants to scream that they don't need help, they don't need the cops or whatever. I bet your bitch ass wouldn't be crying that if somebody was jumping on you or robbing you or home invading you, would you? I personally think law enforcement should pile out of town, put a giant fucking temporary fence up around that doesn't let anybody out, and just initiate a 24-hour purge and let people clear it up themselves. I blame the fact that we started putting warning labels on every damn thing and helping stupid people to stay alive and to produce is helped to contribute to all this madness, because with a lack of spatial reasoning, common sense, any bit of fucking logic thinking, a lot of this would not be happening. But no, we're all just kind of short sighted in our ideas, way too led by the bullshit in the media. And I kind of think common sense is being bred out of the human race anyway at this point. You know, I mean, shit. Between stuff I've survived, stuff I see, things I was told when I was a phone actress. That's what they call it when you're a phone sex wench. Anyways, people's confessions and stuff is just, I'll tell you right now, this world, all y'all deserve is a giant fucking meteor, and I include myself in that. That's all we really deserve, you know. It's one big kablamo. Anyway, does anybody else think it looks like the end of times? Not just because it's riot shit, but for real. It really does seem kind of like that nowadays. You know, for a while now, I hear tell that white buffaloes have been being born more. Supposedly, that's some sort of sign for Native Americans about the end of the world. I've heard some weird temple stuff being rebuilt by Jewish people, and that's supposed to be part of the end of the world shit. And I don't know, there just seems to be a lot going on with it. That kind of gives me ponder once in a while. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, I suppose. Not a lot really does in the end, I guess. But I just wish everybody would calm the fuck down and get the fuck over themselves and fucking do some research, because if you did, a lot of this madness would stop. It really, really would. And, we're letting the haves divide the have nots up incredibly. They've got us divided on religion, politics, gender, preference, choices of who to be with, all that shit. All of it. They have us all so well divided and jacked up. And then on top of it, they got people slamming down Ozempic because they all got to get super thin super fast when they were already rail thin to begin with. God bless Hollywood, those sick fucks. Yeah, the Ozempic is causing 20-year-olds to have basically osteoporosis because although Ozempic isn't known for causing osteoporosis, amazingly enough, anybody who's ever used Ozempic comes up with osteoporosis, so figure that shit out. I don't know how they can't say that it doesn't cause it then. That's just amazing to me. If you get the same result 100% of the time, I'd have to suggest that you can't just say that it's coincidental at that point. I don't know. I could be wrong. So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter. Nobody's really going to listen to this thing anyway, but I just wanted to chime in and beef a little because, it's fun and why not? But, all right, so I should probably turn this off before this gets any longer and stupid. Oh, what is it, 21 minutes? It's actually short for my yak box ass. I'm trying to think if that's everything I wanted to say about it. I don't know. I'm just glad they sent the Marines in, especially with that you spit, we hit shit. Spit on a fucking Marine. I guarantee you, one punch to your fucking stupid face, you're going to be eating pavement easy. That's the ultimate fuck around find out branch right there. Other than like Navy SEALs, you're going to be fucking with no Marines. They don't give a shit about having to smack your ass. Believe that. I saw another thing where it showed that there's a bunch of veterans that are like on board to like start kicking some ass if necessary. I tell you what, it's getting deep, y'all. And if we all don't start figuring out how to get our heads out of our asses, have a little common sense, do a little research, come together better, quit letting the fucking Democrats and libs fucking torch your brain cells, you're not going to get anywhere in this life, and you're just going to cause yourself some fucking insurrection or martial laws, and it's just going to get real deep. I mean, fuck. What, Bass just put out a thing about she's putting a curfew into place. Really? 6 days in and you're just now giving people curfew. Oh, yeah, you're a tough guy. Giving people curfew now that the military that Trump sent in to help settle things down is fucking settling things down. Now you're going to beef up and act like you had any kind of authority over it. So fucking weak. So fucking weak, man. It's funny to me that narcissistic vampire, greasy car salesman, cockroach motherfucker, new scum was all ready to throw that Bass bitch under the bus until about the fires and shit, when LA was burning because of climate control, not because we're fucktards, and now it's like they're butt buddies again, And then they got that wine box mom, Kamala, pulling up, wiping her chin off from sucking the latest dick, fucking protein depository. They all act like, oh, if we all see the same narrative over and over and over, and we all stick to the same narrative, it makes it true. You know what I think? I think Gavin and them are so fucking deluded of their own bullshit that they can't help but like believe their own shit so thoroughly that they're trying to like kiss the ass of the 5% that would actually vote for them, because in their minds it's not 5%. In their minds it's a hell of a lot more, and they're going to damn sure win the next election by being an ass kisser and letting this stuff go on. Plus, I think a lot of it too has to do with the fact that they want to prove Trump's a dictator, which he's not. They want to prove he's a Nazi, which he's not. They want to prove he's some sort of horrible, terrible, very bad, no good thing, and they can't. They can't. Granted, the man's not a fucking angel. Who is? He's a politician, okay? Please. But at the same token, At least he's trying to help our country. At least he's trying to get things back on track. At least he knows how to do the fucking job. And then it reminds me, y'all little bitches about these goddamn tariffs are about on my last fucking nerve, okay? Last nerve. Every time some more tariff shit breaks off, all these little news reports, oh my god, it's the end of the world, America's bankrupting, da 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 da. Okay, 24 to 72 hours later, what happens? Oh, what? It's in a lot of green on all the numbers for different things on the stock market. What's that? It's leveling out. What's that? It's getting better. What's that? It's going to be okay. And the earth didn't crack in half. And Hitler didn't fucking come pulling up out of the middle like a jack in the box. Hey, you know? No. So, God, it's my brother does this too. He's like, well, if Trump wasn't so unstable and kept changing his mind, it wouldn't be so scary and we could understand and this and that. Okay, the only reason y'all happen to think that that man is changing his damn mind so much, I'm going to tell you why. Because you're listening to the other side who's against him. He doesn't change his mind. Every time he goes to do something, they take a tiny piece of it or just completely out and out lie. They don't even take it just out of context. They'll just straight out fucking lie. They'll run with it. Okay, they'll run with the narrative as though it's true. They'll all say the same thing to her. They'll all make sure to get plenty of sound bites out there at the same time, real good and collectively, and try to convince her that they're right by doing it that way. And they'll say, "Oh, he's going to do this great and terrible thing, and this is how he's going to do it, and this is what we know, and no, 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 no." And if they themselves are not already guilty of it or fixing to become guilty of it, it's a shocker. But aside from that, they accuse him of things. He says, no, I don't even have that in my thoughts. It's not in my mind. It's not on my list of agendas. It's not even on the radar. It's not even anything I would do. They're like, no, you're a liar. You're going to, and we know it because blah, 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 blah. Right? Then it doesn't happen. Or better yet, the complete opposite happens. And everything's sunshine and rainbows again and balancing out some more. And so they're like, oh, well, okay, well, that didn't pan out the way we said, but we know we were right, but he changed it because we said this and that. But now, no, now he's going to do this next horrible, terrible thing, and here's what it is, and here's how it's going to go down. And he's like, again, I'm not. I'm really not. It's not even an interest to me. I've got better things to do for the country. And they're like, no. He's going to do this horrible, terrible, god-awful thing. We just know it. We just know it with every fiber of our being. Y'all should get out there and burn the world down about it. Okay? And then it doesn't happen. Or again, a positive opposite happens. And then they're left to go, oh, we're sorry, we were wrong. Or, oh, no, we helped cause the positive change with our bullshit. No, you didn't. And then they run with something else. And so over and over, again and again, every time they say, oh, he's going to do this, that, and the other thing. And he's like, no, I'm really not. And they're like, yeah, you really are. And then it doesn't happen. And then it goes on to the next thing that, oh, he's going to do this. And then he's like, no. And they're like, yeah. And he's like, no. And then it doesn't happen. And then it happens again and again and again. And yet they still believe themselves. They still believe their own lies and bullshit. And they still spin endless false narrative. Now, how in God's green earth does that in any shape or form promote sane thinking, peaceful demonstration, or any of that such thing? That's another thing, okay? These people are outside of the ICE buildings, ripping it up, doing whatever the fuck, being disruptive, yada, yada, yada. Here's the thing. ICE agents are just following orders. If you really, really, really want to actually make a difference, you're going to get off your fucking ass. You're going to go down to where the laws are made, okay? And whoever's in fucking charge. And you're going to go filibuster. You're going to go sign petitions. You're going to do whatever it takes to get some sort of bill out there for it to be lobbied on, okay? Because the pen is mightier than the sword. I forget who said that. It is a famous quote. It's like Ben Franklin's time period or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a historian. Here's the deal. After being incarcerated and knowing a lot of people who have been or know someone who is, I can tell you from the various walks of life I have met that have done time or close to done time or know somebody else who's done time, that the way to go is by using the system itself to change it. not burn your fucking community down. I can't tell you how many high food chain white supremacist people in prison, okay, have learned the hard way that if you want to elicit change, you don't go out and blow up some shit in Oklahoma City, which I don't know what his affiliations were, but you get my drift. You don't go blow up some building. You don't go burn some shit down. You don't go doing some dumb nonsense. No. You go out, you peaceful protest, okay? Peaceful. And you file the right paperwork. And you just fight the system with its own shit. Look at Trump. What has he done? He has found old laws to do shit with, right? He has found old laws to help go around later on laws to help get the job done, right? Just like a lot of them have. That's how they managed to pull all those charges against him when they said, what was it, 35 charges they were trying to put on him? Most of that bullshit, the only reason they got away with it is because they found some laws on the books that allowed them to play with things. Now, I know when I was answering the phones for Motor Vehicle Division in Arizona, speaking of which, when you call those in Arizona, they all go to a prison call center, just so you know. Unless it's level 2. That's somewhere in the free world. Anyhow, okay, I sat there and I looked at legal books just because I was bored. And I discovered a lot of silly shit left on the books that you wouldn't believe. Because when they make laws, a lot of times they don't get rid of a previous law. They just add to it, okay, or barely alter it. Like, okay, in Arizona, when you're let out of prison, technically, they're supposed to give you some gold, a gun, and a horse. But if you're on parole, the gun would violate you, technically. You know, and technically as a felon, you don't have gun rights anyway at this point. But my point is it's still on the books. I think it's Thatcher, Arizona, you're not allowed to spit on the sidewalks because it goes back to old TB laws. You know what I mean? Tuberculosis. Yeah. So anyhow, um, he's found stuff, and that's why he's finding, things that allow him to do the deportation and shit. And that's why the other ones find things to try to cock block him with and stuff, because they're smart enough to use the system that's already in place and to look up the laws and stuff. I knew a long time ago when I was incarcerated that Roe versus Wade was going to be ended at some point. You know why I knew? Because I sat down and I looked at the wording of how the verbiage was covered in the law books. And I said to myself, the way that they just worded this, if somebody really wanted to get in there and get technical, use of the word viable could really bite a motherfucker in the ass, and it's going to get rid of stuff. Sure enough, somebody discovered some things in the verbiage, probably, because now look at good luck getting your kids scraped out of you now, huh? That's another thing. I have never, ever, ever in my life met somebody who's had an abortion who did not go, oh, if I hadn't done that on such and such date, my child would be such and such age. Or you never hear about it until like the month of that child's birthday comes up that it would have happened had it been born. And they're like, oh my God. More women I have known are more tore up about an abortion child than they are when a child dies after it's born of natural causes or is miscarried, you know? And it just amazes me. So if it's just a clump of cells inside of you, then why are you walking around with such a burden on your soul? Okay? If it's just a clump of cells, then why, when a man, on purpose or accidentally, kills the baby inside of a woman's womb, whether it kills her or not, he gets it for murder for the baby? Okay, and it's not born. But yet doctors are allowed to do partial birth abortion where, I don't know how many of y'all know what this is, but they leave the infant's head inside of the mother. They have it come out feet first. They ever give birth to it feet first. They leave the head inside. And while the head is inside, there's a little dent in the back of your neck back here, like right here at the base of your skull. And they insert something into there, and they slush things around, and they start slurping them out. And the baby is never given any anesthesia. It's never given anything. It knows something god-awful is happening to it and can feel every single thing the entire time until enough of its brain is sucked out that they can collapse the skull and pull the rest of the body out of your vagina. And because the baby didn't have a breath on the outside of the mother, it's not murder to them. Not technically, is how they got their little loophole written up. You can do that clear into 9 months. You can call me a liar, do your research. So I don't understand why if the doctor can get away with that and the woman who agrees to that can get away with that. To that level, okay. I'm not talking about regular abortion where it's like the first couple months. Still fucked up, but less fucked up. Um, Less barbaric. Um, I don't understand then why any man should ever get in trouble. Anybody should ever get in trouble for accidentally or on purpose killing a baby in the womb. Then they should be freed from prison right here and now. If that's the case of it, if that's the rationale, the logic thought process, you know, uh, it just I think if y'all hadn't gotten so damn out of pocket with that stuff, you'd still be able to scrape your babies out of your bodies. You wouldn't have to fucking worry about it. Um, yeah, pretty crazy. Anyways, uh, obviously I'm not for it. If you are, cool, more power to you. Whatever. It's between you and whatever you might believe in, or hell, just dealing with yourself on it, I suppose. But, yeah. Anyway. And then I see these things where people are upset that RFK isn't going to let people buy junk food with their stamps anymore. And, I kind of get both sides of that coin. I do. But at the same time, the stores tend to feed poor people a lot of shit food, sell people a lot of shit food. You can't afford a lot. So, I don't know. Maybe it'd be a good thing if people kind of went back to making shit a little bit homemade once in a while again. I mean, instead of sitting your fat ass on TikTok smoking cigarettes while everybody else feeds your baby, I bet you get your fat ass up and go make a fucking dozen cookies for your family. You know? It's easy as that. But nope, people just want to sit around staring at TikTok, smoking their cigarettes, letting everybody else raise their fucking kids, blame shit on everybody else, whatever. I've seen it 1,000 times. Can't tell you how many times I've seen screaming babies in fucking offices. The fucking moms are sitting there fucking ignoring them on their goddamn phones, staring at shit. Sex is great until you gotta fucking drag a kid around and fucking deal with it, I guess, huh? Sucks to be you. Glad I'm over that shit. I mean, I love my kids, don't get me wrong. And I liked going places with them and all that when they were little, but it is a lot of bloody responsibility. You gotta remember the diaper bag, you gotta remember your purse, you gotta remember their toys and shit that they're gonna drag with. Make sure everybody's got shoes on and all that. And, it's probably what makes it easy for me to take my little dog everywhere because I'm used to setting up a bag and dragging somebody around at this point. But anyway, that's neither here nor there, and I don't even know why it popped in my damn fool head. But there's your rant for today from the Feral Housewife. Opinions and no political correctness in sight, and I don't really give a fuck. I am who I am. Like it or don't like it, it doesn't really matter to me. I don't like most people as it is. I really don't hang out around nobody. I'd rather hang out with myself. Anyway. Damn it. What is this thing doing? Anyway, alright, so Feral Housewife out. Hopefully, I've done a thorough job at enlightening somebody out there. Maybe pissing plenty of people off. Who knows? Don't really care. It's just fun to make these stupid things. Ain't like nobody's looking anyway, right? Alright. If anybody worthwhile ever sees these things, just so you know, I've got a few good ideas that could actually help globally, economically, and the earth itself. Shit that would actually make Greta Thunberg smile for once in her black little life. Bleak little life. Black little heart. Nah. It's tiresome anyway. Alright. Love and blessings. Be good or be good at getting away with it. And start doing some fucking research, y'all. Jeez.